Welcome. I'm Sophia from Checking for and today's video is going to be my project pan update for March, and it is a huge one. I finished about 24 to 25 products or met my goals on them, mostly finished. And just so you know, I will only update on the products that I've made a major difference on. Like I've actually not just used a little bit, but there's significant usage on it, because if I touch something like once or twice and you can't even see that I've done anything, I can't cover it because I have like over 50 items in this project at any given point. So let's get into it. I'm going to start with the Charlotte Tilbury Film Star Glow. No, Bronze and Glow. Bronze and Glow. You think that after all the years that I've had this, I would know the name. This is in the fair to medium shade, and this is the big size. And as you can see, I hit a pan in this highlighter. I actually had a pan in this highlighter last month, and then I expanded it, but I have not hit pan on the bronzer yet, even though I actually use the bronzer more than the highlighter. So my goal with this was to use this 100 times. Each reach into a product was one use. So if I reached into the highlighter once, that was one use. If I reached into the bronzer once, that was one use. If I reached into both of them during the same makeup application, that was two uses. And I used the bronzer 52 times in this project and 48 times in the project. And now I can actually put this away. I also reached my goal on the Pat McGrath Holiday 2022 face palette. My goal with this palette was to use each of these pans 20 times, and I've done that. I've actually used the highlighter 25 times. You can't really see it very clearly, but after about 15 uses, the blushes tend to look more worn down, and the rose imprint actually tends to disappear. With this blush right here, it is way too deep for me, so I used it 3 times as a blush and it was just too much. And then after that, I used it as eyeshadow to deepen looks like this, these soft pink rose gold looks, and that was beautiful. And I will pretty much only ever use this blush like that going forward. I don't think I'll ever use this up if I'm going to be using it as an eyeshadow, because there's like 4 grams of product in this. But goal reached, and I've now used this palette over 100 times. Although I didn't anticipate showing you guys this palette, because I literally said in my last video that I would not update you on the Master Palette by Mario because the shades were not spring-like to me, I actually used up an eyeshadow, so I kind of have to. I used up Muse. This was one of the shades that I intended to use up, and I have used it up. I've actually also hit yet another pan, so I connected the two little pans that I'd already hit, and I use this black shadow only as eyeliner. I haven't really done anything else with any of the other shadows here, except this shade right here is Violetta. I never really anticipated hitting pan on this. I do use this predominantly in my hair. It's fantastic for that. And this shade right here, again, another shade I did not anticipate using up or using at all. This in Hollywood is actually currently deepening up a really light powder in another product, so I will use that up, and then this will be gone as well. But I did not anticipate getting this much use out of this palette, but here we are. If you guys see that the door has opened, River came to say hi, and this is River. Hi. Hi, Lemmy. She came for the belly scratches. Oh, are we tired? Are we tired? Yeah, we're tired. So cute. She's teething, so if you hear chewing, that's what it is. Continuing with eyes, I've met my goals on these two Urban Decay 24/7 Glide On eye pencils. So the first one is the shade Psychedelic Sister, and this is a beautiful purple that has glitter in it. And the problem is that it actually irritates my eyes because of that glitter, I believe. So I have used this the 10 times I intended to use it, and I will keep it in my collection. However, this is only going to be like upper lash line eyeliner for me going forward, and never going to be used on my waterline because it causes such redness. Another goal I met is on the 24/7 Glide On pencil in Overdrive. This is what that shade looks like. It is actually what I'm wearing on my eyes today. And my only goal with this was to actually reach the top of the 24/7, so the top of the 2. As you can see, I've actually reached the top of the 4. So yeah, let me see. I was supposed to reach right here, but I've reached like right here with the base of the cap. I do like this pencil. I am going to take it out of this project because it is a lot deeper of a shade than I really want to wear in the spring. I might bring this back in the fall because I really enjoyed it. But as it stands right now, this is out and done. Another pencil from the 24/7 Glide On collection was the shade in Vice, and this is what that looks like. The problem is that this also makes my eyes a little red. I'm gonna declutter this. It's just not worth the possible issues with my eyesight because it makes my eyes red, and then but it's too hard to put over the top of my eyelids. So this one's out of my collection. Moving from eyes to lips, I also used up this Sephora collection Rouge Gel Lip Liner in the shade Creme de la Creme. I don't have anything else that's coming out. It is done. This is what that shade looked like. I liked using this all over my lips as a lipstick, as I tend to like using lip liners. And this is now done. I also used up my Makeup Forever lip liner in number 11. I do not remember the line that this came from. This was old. And just to prove to you that this is the second one and not the first one that I finished, here are both of them next to each other. So I finished both of these in this project since January. I'm very proud of myself. I also used up this Tarte Maracuja Juicy Lip in the shade Orchid. When I brought this into the project last month, I was like down here, and now this is done. I actually had to like dig into this, and I always have to dig into them because the mechanism stops right here, not all the way up there, which is really annoying for a product that costs $24. I also used up the Maybelline Lifter Lip Gloss in Silk. As you can see, it is completely cleaned out. I used every last bit, and then I just went in with a different wand and cleaned it out further, and then finally Q-tip. But I did have to take out the stopper in order to get into it because this well right here, there's just so much product there. So I had to take out the stopper pretty early on in order to get to the product. I also used up my NARS Laguna Cream Bronzer in 01. I love this bronzer and I enjoy using this. And I love it so much that I actually bought a second one. Let me show you. It is brand new. I haven't used it yet. I just got it the other day. And then I was concentrating on a bronzer that I had in this project. I will not be introducing that into the project because I realized I love it very much and I don't need to. I will be using it naturally, maybe towards the end. If I, have had it for a year and it's not used up, I'll bring it in. But right now, this baby is gone. I also finished the Merit Great Skin Instant Glow Serum. When I first brought it in, it had only been used like once or twice and it was like right here. Then at the first update, it was like right here. At the last update, it was right here. And now it is completely gone. I use this as an actual serum for the face, like a skincare, and that is the way I loved it. When I was using it under makeup, it just wasn't my favorite, but as an actual serum, twice a day, it was lovely. It actually was what made my skin better through the month. I was not able to do all my skincare routines the way I want to or the way I like to because I was busy with a puppy. So this one was great for that. Continuing with skincare, I also used up this Versed Weekend Glow Daily Brightening Solution. When I brought it in, I was like right here. Then last update, I was right there. And then I finished this all completely over the last month. And that happened mainly because I used this as the only exfoliation that I was doing. A lot of the times I was so busy with, a puppy's a puppy, just taking care of her that I was just not able to wash my face the way I wanted to. So I just went and used this up and I really enjoyed it. However, I prefer other exfoliating chemically exfoliating products. There we go. I finally got it. I also used up these two minis or deluxe size samples. I have a goal of using 10 deluxe size samples over the course of the year, though I think I'm actually going to start a separate project pan where I want to finish 100 of them because I've brought in so many into my collection through my Ulta purchases. So I think I'm going to do that. But these two will count because I have used them this year. So this first one is the Peter Thomas Roth Water Drenched Hyaluronic Glow Serum. I don't think this did as much as I would have liked it to. It might have been really, I'm wondering whether it was just that I wasn't liking the scent on this because it smelled very stale. It wasn't old in my collection, but it smelled stale nonetheless. So I did not enjoy that very much. Whereas this Indie Lee Soothing Cleanser, I actually enjoyed very much. This was lovely on the days where I didn't have any makeup on. I really enjoyed using this. I also used up this Trader Joe's Brazil Nut Body Butter. This is completely gone. I have a few more of these in my collection. Last year when they came out with these, I bought a few of them. And then, when winter came around, I wasn't really feeling the scent because I was feeling something different. But I really enjoy them. That kind of reminded me of how much I do enjoy this scent. So I do want to go through maybe one or two more before Trader Joe's introduces these back into their collection. But as it stands right now, this is gone. Same for this Tree Hut Iced Coffee Sugar Shea Scrub, completely gone. So this one I did not actually enjoy. I have a few backups of the Tree Hut Velvet Coffee, and that was phenomenal. I literally bought up the TJ Maxx near me when I found like five or six of them. So I do have some of those, but this one, if they came back with this one, I wouldn't buy it again. I also used up this Cosrx Advanced Snail 92 All-in-One Cream. I am very glad that I used this up because I don't like using products in jars anymore now that I have a puppy, particularly this kind of sticky product. This now comes in a tube and I prefer that. I have 3 tubes of this actually. So I do prefer it in the tube. When I brought it in, I was right here and then I'm completely gone with this. I use this myself a couple of times. My boyfriend used it, and once or twice my hands were so dry that I needed to use it on my hands, and it just saved my hands because I'm with the puppy. I'm just washing my hands all the time. So this was amazing. I also used up this B Lab Matcha Hydrating Real Sunscreen SPF 50 plus PA 4 pluses. So last month when I introduced this, I believe I said that this wasn't my favorite. As I was using this, I actually discovered that I really do like this sunscreen. So I will be buying this again at some point. I believe I bought this on Yes Style. I love Asian sunscreens. They're so beautiful in consistency. They're so elegant. I'm actually going to Indonesia and Thailand with a layover in South Korea, and I'm going to see if I can buy some stuff for myself. But as it stands right now, I was right here and I'm completely done with this. So I am very thankful that I got to use it and enjoy it. I also used up my Pat McGrath. Let me read it off the new one that I have. Pat McGrath Skin Fetish Sublime Perfection Blurring Under Eye Powder in Light. Yes, 2. Let me show you the one that I used up. This is what that looks like right now. Apparently I didn't have as much product left as I thought, and I have now completely used it up. I also met my goal on this CoverGirl Simply Ageless Skin Perfector Essence. I only wanted to use it 10 times. I have used it more than 10 times, but I introduced it at this point. This does slide up and I hit 10 times. I was right here. But then what I started doing was I used this as a way to thin out a thicker foundation that I had in this project. So I went from here to this point. Now, my issue with this is that it's definitely the wrong color for me. However, it's a $21.50 foundation, not even foundation, skin tint at Ulta. So it's a drugstore skin tint for nearly $22, and I don't know if I want to repurchase this, but if I were to buy it, I would buy a shade deeper. I have it in the 10 Clear. I do not like it in the shade, and it's okay. It's just it really doesn't do anything for me. I am more of a foundation girl. I also reached my goal on the Lancome Tint Idole Ultra Wear. I introduced it at this point. I used it 10 times and I am at this point right now. Just so you know, I need about 3 to 4 pumps of this to cover my whole face. And that is because I prefer the way my foundations look on my skin with a sponge. So sometimes I'll apply it with my fingers and I'll go over with a sponge, but it does take more pumps. So if you use this 10 times, it doesn't necessarily mean that you will make that big of a jump because everybody uses products differently. I can fly through foundations because I do like more of a medium coverage look. I'm a girl of the 2016's makeup era, okay? That's what I'm from. And the last product I finished is the e.l.f. Luminous Putty Bronzer in Vacay Mood. I only had about like a fifth of this left. Like I've been using this in order to tone down, because it was so cool toned, to tone down really warm toned bronzers, cream bronzers. And so what I did with that is actually I took half of the bronzer that I had in here. Just so you know, the bronzer that I had in here was not a Makeup by Mario bronzer. It was actually a mix of 2 Merit Balm bronzers. So anyway, I took half of this. I originally intended to do a quarter, but I took a half of this because this is just so warm. I mixed melted it down with whatever was left in this, and as you can see, it's completely empty. I poured that into this, and I emptied this out. So since I emptied this out, I have now emptied this out, and this is gone and out of my collection completely. So now that I've shown you what I did with this one and the fact that half of it is gone, I still need to finish the other half. And what I'm going to do in order to do that, because this is still too warm for me, is actually I'm going to bring in the Juvia's Place Buttercream. Buttercream is the shade bronzer, and all I'm going to do is actually just like remove a quarter of this from this pan because this is just so cool toned. Oh, let me show you. Like, that's how cool toned this is. It is cooler toned than I like to use on a daily basis. Whereas this one right here, and I'm using a different finger, this one right here is just way too warm toned. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to combine these. So I'm going to melt this down completely with a quarter of this, and then I'm going to work on that. And now let's start with progress. And the first one I want to talk about is this Dior Backstage Flash Perfector Concealer. I have this in 0N. When I introduced this, I was right here. Then the first update, I was there. Second update, I was there. And then for some reason, I guess I used it a bunch of times. I hit it right here this time, and my goal is to get to this point, which is the bottom of the O here, which would be a little bit less than half the product used, and I think that I can actually manage this in the next 2 months, like before my trip, because after that point this will be too light anyway. Now let's talk about the Fenty Gloss Bomb in Fussy. I love this shade. I don't love the scent of these anymore, but I love this shade. And I introduced this right here. It was just under the halfway point. Then first update, second update, third update, which would be today. But I'm not going to concentrate on this. I actually pulled back on using this because I did a combo lip look and I loved it so much that I'm going to take that combo look on my trip to Bali. And I want to preserve this for that. So I'm hoping to be able to use this up completely by the end of May. But as a result, because I want to have it for that, and there is no way to actually. Ooh, yikes. I guess I'll just apply whatever just got on my hand. So there we go. So there's no way to remove this stopper here, so I am going to be really mindful of that. I've also been working on this Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk Quad. My goal in this is to use up this combination that I have here. It's just 2 other shades. For now, I've hit pan, but I like to use this as my inner corner highlighter. Of course, I'm not using it today. Anyway, too late for that. But the other goal is to hit pan in every one of the other shades, and I had a pan in that last month, and I hit a pan in this month, and now I only have this one left. I suspect that this is going to take me so long to use because this is a shade that for some reason I'm not finding myself drawn to as much, even though it's a beautiful shade. It's going to take me so long to hit pan on this that I think I'm going to use up this by that point. But as it stands right now, I'm going to keep working on this. It is a beautiful shade. I just don't understand why I'm not using it as frequently as I should. With the Cali Ray Surf Proof Setting Spray, I like this setting spray, but it's not like my favorite. What I did was the bottle was not really comfortable, and the spray was not really comfortable. So what I did is actually I decanted it into this Rare Beauty bottle that I emptied out last month, and I introduced it. Well, I'm sorry. When I decanted it, it was like right here, right above the B in beauty, in the beauty of Rare Beauty, and now it is like down here. I'll mark this obviously. So I suspect that I'll be able to finish this up by the end of next month, and then this will be out of my collection. It's not a bad setting spray. It's actually really nice, and it definitely doesn't feel drying, but I prefer the Charlotte Tilbury, so I just have so much of that anyway. I'm just going to keep using that, but this is not bad. It's not bad. It's just not my favorite. When it comes to the Tarte Timeless Smoothing Primer, what I did is I actually took about a big chunk of that out and transferred it into this e.l.f. Matte Putty Primer mini little jar because I didn't want to keep opening this jar up, so I didn't want that to dry out. So I'm going to be using this. Of course, I didn't take a picture of how much I put in, but whatever. I'm going to be using this. I don't need to use it every day, so I don't waste it. I still suspect that I'll be able to use up this entire jar of the Tarte by the end of this year, but I'll only be working out of one of these little tiny e.l.f. jars because they're perfect for this. And I suspect that I'll be able to use this up by the end of April. By the way, this is the best smoothing primer around, this Tarte one. amazing. Having talked about one of these tiny jars, and just so you know, I have two others of these. What I'm gonna do is actually the next product, which is the e.l.f. No Budge Cream Shadow in, let me see, Sand Dune. My goal with this product is to use up half of this throughout this year. It's just a brown shade. Let me see if I can show it to you. But it's a nice brown shade, and I'm using it in conjunction with another eyeshadow, which I haven't made much progress on, so I'm not even gonna show you that today. But by trying to use half of this, I keep opening this up, and I'm only trying to position my finger here, but it's not working. But also this constant opening and closing and opening and closing, it's going to dry it out. And I don't want to, because it's actually really lovely. So what I'm going to do is I have another one of these. I have two others of these. So I'm going to take a quarter of this sand dune shade, and I'm going to transfer it over into this. And once I've, or like another one of these, and once I've used that up, I'm actually going to then use the second quarter, and then that would mean that once I've used that up, I've met my goal. I have a usage goal on this by Terry blush. It's a Terribly, I don't remember the full name. It's a Terribly something Scentsyless blush. Anyway, I had this in my collection for like 7 years, and I never opened it, never used it, never did anything with it. So my goal with this is to use it 30 times throughout this year. And actually, I've already done 7, so I have to use it 23 more times before I can roll it out. And I think I can actually do that by the end of April, because this is perfect shade for April. I'm working on a lot of blushes. The next one is this Tower 28 Beach Please Magic Hour blush, and I hit pan in it. I hit pan in it. It's a tiny pan, but I hit it. But now that I see the pan, I also see how little product remains. I'm gonna probably hit a much larger pan by the end of next month. I don't know, but I may be able to finish this before my trip to Asia. So I'm actually working on even more cream blush than that, and I'm going to be making some changes, probably unpopular changes, but at the end of the day, it's my makeup and I really want to enjoy it. I have a lot of it. So I have a Franken blush that I'm working on in this e.l.f. Halo Glow Setting Powder jar, and it's quite a lot because I combined half of a Merit Cheeky blush with a whole Kosas lipstick in like a nude shade, I don't remember, and I came up with a color that I don't necessarily love. So what I did was I took a third of that and I melted that down along with another lipstick, which is an e.l.f. lipstick, and I believe in O or O Face or something, I don't remember. I melted that down and I put that into this NARS compact, yet another one of those that I had, and that's what that looks like. Now, here's my alteration. My goal is to actually melt this down further, and this is what these shades look like, by the way, these two blushes. They look the same is what I'm trying to show you. I'm going to actually melt this down, finish off that e.l.f. lipstick that I just mentioned, melt that along with this, and then try and finish this compact by the end of summer. That is going to be my goal. And then I will do some more tinkering around with whatever's here. I just want to be able to use my other cream blushes. What is the point of having them if I'm not getting to enjoy them? So this may be around for a while. I'm okay with that, but I just wanted to give you guys a heads up. I'm actually going to be working out predominantly out of this right now because A, it's easier to carry. B, I can tailor this to better suit me. And I don't want to hate the products that I pan. That's all I'm going to say. Next up is this Makeup Forever Aqua XL Color Paint XL in the shade 180, and this is just like a pink. It's a more of a lavender pink shade. I started it here. There was a bit of an air bubble, dropped down to here the very first update. Then last update I was here, and this update I'm like down here. I'm actually gonna have pictures, but this is where I'm at right now basically. So I started where it was like right here. I started when it was like right here, and now I'm like down to here. I'm just going to keep using this. I think that I can finish this by the end of spring. Moving on, I have this Burt's Bees tinted lip balm in this shade Daisy, and I've not been using this very much, but I still have, oh, that was so hard to take off. I still have made some progress on it. The problem with this, and I may have to make some kind of call on it by the end of next month, the problem with this is that it's starting to smell like crayons, and I'm not here for that. Like, it's just not worth it. It's a beautiful shade, but I don't want to deal with crayon scents and all that. So I'm going to keep using this for another month, and I may have to make a call on this by the end of spring. So we'll see how that goes. When it comes to this Urban Decay 24/7 Glide On Eye Pencil in Invasion, this is like an inky shade, an inky green shade. Let me show you. It's really beautiful. I've used this 7 out of the 10 times I'm supposed to use it. So I'm going to keep it in for another 3 uses and then I'm going to move on. I don't think that's a shade that I enjoy around this time. So it's taking a little bit more time to get through it. When it comes to foundations, I have 2 others that I actually want to finish. At first, I only wanted to finish this It Cosmetics CC Plus Nude Glow in the shade. I think this was fairly light. This oxidizes on me, so I can't really use it on its own. When I, when I introduced it into this project, because I've had it in a project before, I was like right here, and I've used it a bunch of times, and I'm right here. Now, the problem is I can't use this on its own, so I do have to mix it, and I've been using it with this e.l.f. Camo Hydrating CC Cream in the shade Fair 120N. This is a perfect match for me when I'm not tanned at all. I brought it in when it was right here. By the way, this only launched like 2 or 3 months ago, and I'm already like more than halfway through. This is actually a very enjoyable foundation for me, but I think that I'm actually going to be finishing both of these around the same time. Right now, obviously, this It Cosmetics one is just a little bit too deep for me, so I'm putting in a lot more of the e.l.f. one, and then at some point it's going to like tip over in the other direction. But I'm making progress, probably going to take me until the end of summer. When it comes to bronzer, I'm working on this NYC Sunny Days bronzer. I mean, when I brought it in, it had no visible pan. It clearly has pan now. I've not used it very much this month, mainly because it is too deep for me right now. Quite a lot deeper than what I can pull off generally, so I'm not really using it as much as I could be. But I was also using cream bronzers quite a lot. So I'm going to actually set a usage goal on this right now. Just because I do want to use it in the spring months before I get really like tan anyway. But I'm gonna be bringing in other powder bronzers because in trying to pan a $3 bronzer, I'm not using up my $40, $50, $60 bronzers, and it makes no sense. So I'm going to put a usage goal on this of using this 100 times before the end of this year, starting from now. So from now to the end of this year, I want to use it 100 times. Once I've used it 100 times, depending on where I'm at, depending on what the season is, depending on whether I even like this, because this formula used to be touted as like the most amazing available at the drugstore, but things have improved so drastically that this is a little powdery. So I'll see how I feel about it, but right now I'm going to set a usage goal of 100 on this starting from today, and hopefully I'll be able to finish it in that period of time. If I don't, I'll reassess at that point. But as it stands right now, I've already used this 29 times in this project, and I had used it before. When it comes to highlighter, I only have one in the project right now, and it is the Ciate London Moonlit Highlighter. Now, this is a lie because I hit a huge pan on this a few weeks ago, and then I just kept working on it. I'm going to put the picture right here. But then I was having problems using it, actually getting it on the brush, so I dry repressed it and I hit pan again. I do suspect that I'll be able to finish using this by the end of June, so probably by the time I go on that trip that I mentioned before, I may even finish this by the end of April. So, wow, that's amazing. But just so you know, this has only 2.5 grams of product in it. However, it was basically unused when I brought it in. I think I'd only swatched it like once or twice. So, yay me. So the brow product I'm working on is this It Cosmetics Brow Power in the shade Universal Taupe. This was brand new when I brought it in. I do use it all the time. I love it. And this is a product I suspect will take me a full year to use. I think I've used this before and that's exactly how long it took. This is how much product I have left. Doesn't look like a lot has been used. Actually, doesn't look like a lot, but it is still a lot because I have this barely used one. And as you can see, let me see if you can see that very easily. Let me hold it here. So, oh, you know what? I've used half of it. Yay me! Yay me. So I think I'm probably going to be able to finish this by the end of June maybe, or July even, at which point I'll just bring in the half-used one, or not the half-used, the barely used one. So, hey, I'm doing pretty well on that. I'm pretty excited. So if I can get 2 products out this year, how exciting. And the last 2 products I want to update you on are from this Colored Rain Botanical eyeshadow palette, and I'm working on these 2 shades right here. So my goal is actually to use up this one, and to hit pan on this one. The problem is that this shade right here, though it looks like like an easy transition shade to use on even my skin tone, it isn't. It's actually pretty dark. I don't enjoy this very much. So I've not really used it very much. I don't know how I'm going to use it. I'm going to try to keep using this through summer because I'm hoping that maybe when I get more of a tan, it'll be more of a bone shade or a transition shade that's easier to use. But as it stands right now, this is very difficult for me to use. I have not used this shade very much. I think I've used it only 2 times because the look that I wanted to make, I only created twice. But while we're here, I actually want to start introducing products because I'm also introducing products in this update. I'm going to be introducing the shade Primavera, and I want to use this up completely. Now, this has a pan on it, but my goal is to finish this shade completely. And it's a beautiful shade right here. Gosh, I love these tones around this time of year. And I think April, May, this is going to be stunning, maybe even into June. So I'm introducing that. Now, along with that eyeshadow, I want to bring in another one of these e.l.f. No Budge cream shadows. This, though, is in the shade Canyon. And this shade looks very beautiful, but I want to use a quarter of this by the end of this year. And what I'm going to do is I have another one of those little e.l.f. pots that I was talking about. So that's the shade that it's more of a salmon color, I would say. This alone I don't like, but I do like it with this other shade over it. So I'm going to be using those together, but I'm going to transfer a quarter, the full quarter that I intend to use out of this container. So the next time that you see, it's going to be in a different container. I'm going to be working out of that because I don't want this to dry out. It is creamy now, but it's not going to remain creamy if I keep opening, closing, opening, closing. Another cream eyeshadow I'm introducing is this ColourPop Super Shock Shadow in Kush. I bought this, I believe, in the fall, and I've literally used it like once or twice. So that's shameful. I need to use it. So my goal is to actually hit pan on this by the end of this year. I think I can do this, but like a significant pan. I don't mean like this the tiniest pan. I know that this product can move around easily, but like, I want to actually hit pan, and once we hit pan, I'll see if that's sufficient or if it's because I've been pushing it around. But because I'm talking about ColourPop Super Shocks, I actually have another one I want to introduce, and it is still in its box. It is the shade Corsage. So I believe I actually had this, and then my niece stole it from me. It was a struggle to take it out, but I finally took it out. So it's this little minty shade, like sagey mint shade, and I've never even touched it. And so that's what that looks like. It's beautiful. I have so many swatches here. I'm sorry. It's beautiful. And all I want to do is use this 20 times, and then I'm going to be able to put it away. I close it real tight because I know that these dry out. And I'm in a really greenish mood. So I'm actually going to be introducing a green little tiny quad, and it is this Viseart Petit Four in Water Lotus. I literally have never used this. I just bought this about 2 months ago, I would say, specifically because I was waiting for April. This is what, I'm sorry about that. This is what, let me just take that off. This is what that looks like. It is absolutely stunning. I've never used it. My goal is to use this no pan left behind ×5. Like I want to use each of these eyeshadows 5 times, and I think I can manage to do that. If I'm still like really loving it, then maybe I'll keep it in May, but as it stands right now, April tends to be the month that I lean towards shades like this. So my goal is to use that 5 times per eyeshadow, so 20 times total for the quad. And the last eyeliner or the last eye product I want to introduce is actually an eyeliner, and it is this Pacifica one. This is part of my 100 items I want to use up, or hit some kind of goal on in 2024, and my goal on this is to use it 20 times. This is what that looks like right now. Well, at all points, this is all what does look like. I bought this last, I believe, May. So I do want to introduce this because this shade in particular is harder for me to wear. I have 2 other shades of this that I really enjoy, but this one doesn't show up very, very well on my waterline. So I want to give myself a longer time horizon in which to reach my goal. So hopefully by the end of summer, I can knock this out of the park. And because I am introducing foundation or base products every single month for 10 usage goals, I'm going to do that this time as well. The first one I'm going to be introducing is this Clinique Beyond Perfecting Foundation Plus Concealer in the shade WN01. I got this as part of my Ulta Diamond gift, and I don't know how I feel about it because I literally just got it in February. I'm going to introduce this for 10 uses. This is definitely very full coverage. That much I know. I've used it a single time, but I've not really developed an opinion on it. So, goal is to use this 10 times. Do I think I'm going to be able to really mark this? Probably not, because this is like very thick. It is somewhere up here. We'll see how that goes. I also want to introduce, again for 10 uses, this L'Oreal True Match Nude Hyaluronic Tinted Serum. I have it in the shade 0.5 to 2. This is very light, so this is the perfect time for me to introduce this. I have had this foundation before, but it was in like a shade that was too deep. L'Oreal had sent it to me, and it was just way too deep. I think it was like 5 or 6, way too deep. I wound up using it more as a bronzer than anything else, or like to darken like really light foundations. So my goal again to use this 10 times. I have never used this one. I bought this a couple of months ago and this has not been used at all. So this is a brand new bottle. I'm actually thinking about possibly getting some other like a pump for this, so we'll see on that. And because I really like to push myself, I'm going to introduce a concealer. This is going to be the Lancome Tentadol Ultra Wear All Over Concealer. Again, like just like with the foundations, I want to rotate through my concealers. I don't have a lot of them, but if I'm spending half the year using just the Dior, everything else is going stale and getting old. I bought this during the last Ulta 21 Days of Beauty sale back in fall 2023. I have it in the shade 090, which is, I believe, Ivory Neutral. Goal is to use this 10 times, actually learn how this works for me. If this is the shade that I really like, what season I like it in. This is really important for me to know, because then I can introduce it into my projects or into my usage in a specific season. Moving on, I also want to introduce a primer. This is the e.l.f. Power Grip Primer with 4% niacinamide. Now, for some reason, I've been preferring the green version of this versus this one, even though everybody says that this is the same as the green one, but also has niacinamide, which should be great. Not my favorite necessarily, so I'm going to try and use this up. I'm introducing it right at this point right here. I think I'm at the halfway point. So goal is to use this up. When it comes to powder, I have two that I want to work on. The first one is a Sephora Micro Smooth Multitasking Baked Face Powder in the shade 15 Nude. I think they've either reformulated this or renumbered them. So I'm going to try and finish this year because I've had it for a really long time. This is definitely something that I can't even use to reference in any videos that I make. So my goal is to just use this up. I don't know if this is the correct shade for me right now, but once I start tanning, it will be. Another powder I want to use up. This is just a powder that was sent to me. It's here. I'm just going to use it. It's the Jeffree Star Luminous Setting Powder in Translucent. I just want it out of my collection. I'm probably at a little bit above the halfway point. I haven't been using it very much, but my goal is to use this up this year. When it comes to lip products, yes, I'm introducing more of those. I no longer have any neutral lip liners left in this project, so I'm going to introduce this Makeup Forever Artist Color Pencil in Wherever Walnut to finish. And this is how much I have left of it. This is quite a lot, but you know, this pencil is actually even longer than this. My goal with this is to finish, not because I don't like it. I really love this pencil, but because November 2022, during the Sephora Rouge sale, the holiday savings event 2022, I bought two. I bought this one. I tried it on after first use. I loved it so much. I bought a backup. I never buy backup, but that one time I did, and I have yet to open that. So my goal is to actually use this up, and hopefully I'll use it up by the holidays, because then I can crack into that one and, you know, start using that one. Just don't buy backups. Just don't buy backups. Moving on, I no longer have any lip glosses other than the Fenty one left in this project, because and I'm waiting on the vacation in order to use that one up. So I'm going to introduce this L'Oreal Paris. What is the full name of this? It's just this gloss called Blissful Blush. I want to use this up. This is a beautiful shade. Let me apply that. At this point, this lip look is just like wild. So I've had this for about almost 2 years. I think May would be 2 years. That's when they sent it to me. So my goal is to use this up, and hopefully I'll use it up before the end of summer, because it's like very summer appropriate. Another lip gloss that I'm introducing, I actually don't love very much. It's not bad. I just don't love, and it is the NYX Fat Lip Drip Oil. Or is it Fat Oil Lip Drip? Whatever it is. This is in the shade Mist Call, and I've already taken out the stopper on it, and the reason I took out the stopper is because it was impossible to get any product. So I'm halfway done with this. I just want to use this up and get it out of my collection. I don't really love that one very much. And of course, I have to introduce a blush, not only a blush, but a cream blush, and it is going to be the Makeup by Mario Soft Pop Plumping Blush Veil in Barely Blushing. So I've had this since they launched it, and I think that was in the fall. I've used it twice, today being one of those times. So I really want to hit pan on this. Shouldn't be too hard. There are only 5 grams of product here, though now that I think about it, for blush, that's quite a lot of product. So this might take me the full year, but I'm okay with that because at least I'll get use on it. These are expensive, so, and I bought it full price. I'm actually going to introduce some bronzers because why not? And the first one is this Pat McGrath Labs Skin Fetish Divine Bronzer in Nude Honey. I bought this last year, so this was May last year, I believe, and I've used it like less than 5 times. Look at this. You can pretty much still see the imprint on this, and one of those uses was today. And the reason I'm introducing this is because, as I said before, the NYC bronzer is a little too deep, and I'm not going to struggle trying to use that in the wrong season for it when I have perfectly wonderful bronzers hanging out in my collection. So I want to rotate through my bronzers this year as well. I don't have to go through all of them, but I do want to get more use out of them because this one I've had since they launched it last year, last May, I believe they launched it. I need to go through this. So my goal with this is to use this 50 times, which should be reasonable and pretty easy to use. And then at that point, I'll feel like I've gotten some use out of my money. And the second bronzer I want to introduce is this Chanel Le Beige Healthy Glow Bronzing Cream in 390 Soleil Tan Bronze. This has 30 grams of product. So I've wanted one of these Chanel bronzers for like a decade, and I just could not bring myself to buy it, even though I was buying other things, multiple of them, and they were costing me more than what one of these would have cost. Anyway, I'm going to talk about that another time. Anyway, so this is something I bought on June 3rd of 2023. It was my birthday gift to myself, and I've used it 3 times. 3 times I've used this. There are 30 grams in this. So my goal with this is going to use this bronzer 100 times before the end of this year. I think that is manageable. Yes, I have other cream bronzers, but why am I concentrating on those cream bronzers when I have something this lovely in my collection? No, we're going to rotate through that. So this is going to be introduced for 100 uses by the end of this year. When it comes to highlighter, I want to introduce this cookie highlighter from Benefit. I've literally had this for years and used it a handful of times, so that is, again, unacceptable. And my goal is to use this, I think I'm gonna actually want to hit pan on this. Yeah, I think I'm gonna aim for pan. So again, it's going to be easy enough for me to use one, especially once the other highlighter that I have in this project is used up. That highlighter I've already used 54 times since the beginning of this year. So I think I'm going to be able to hit pan on this rather easily. I don't think I'm going to be able to hit pan on this like in the next month or so, but it's definitely going to be something that I can manage before I get really deeply tanned because it's definitely more of a like lighter color. And the last full-size item I'm going to be using is going to be a sunscreen. As I said last month, I had 6 sunscreens open at the same time because I was trying a whole bunch of them, and now I have 5 open at the same time. One of them being this Misha Essence Sun SPF 45 PA3 pluses. So I am at this point right here. Really, like, these don't come all the way filled, so I've only used this about, I think, like less than 10 times. So my goal is to use this up. I think I should be able to do that reasonably easily. Again, as long as I have those sunscreens open, I'm going to be introducing a sunscreen every single month because I need to go through them before I can open any other ones, and I have other sunscreens that I use as well. Now, when it comes to the deluxe size samples that I'm going to be introducing, one of them is going to be this Estee Lauder Futurist Peptide Power Serum Primer. It's so small, it's so cute. I want to use this up, should be able to use that without a problem. And the other one is going to be this Coola Sunsilk Drops Sunscreen. It says 70% plus organic, SPF 30. And honestly, I haven't even opened it, so let me see. Let me show you what that looks like. This is what that looks like. That's so cute. It's so small. But I should be able to use this up. And actually, I'm going to try and use both of these before the Sephora sale starts so that I can see if maybe I want to purchase these during that sale. And that's it for my update. I know this was very long. I appreciate you sticking around, and I will see you in a month with my next update.